Hey everyone, so I'm gonna do my makeup and I'm just gonna talk about just about anything because I got a lot of things to share with you guys. And first of all, just gonna say I bought this and it was like for free because I got like vouchers. I did like this government thing that's giving out free vouchers because I really like answer the questionnaires and stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool because I got the vouchers online and I used it. And honestly, I was having quite a lot of vouchers there. I hesitated, then I only could like afford to buy this out of all the other things that I can buy at the vouchers, which is like something I learned. Like, I'll never be hesitant. Like, regarding vouchers and codes, it's like a mess, and I just don't feel like I really want to, kind of just mess it up again. And this is what I bought, and it's like a powder thing. It's been a long time that I've used this kind of powders, and I only used it when I was like 17, and now I'm just grown. So, here it says that it's like long lasting, and to be honest, I just don't really take notice about what I wear on my face. I just know that now that I have like visible like acne. I think last time I wasn't really sure that I had any before, but let's just see how it covers me up for this video. And just, when you enter like the working force and stuff, like you just realize some things that just don't really sit right. Like, like how people are just like backstabbing you or like gossiping about you, and it's just really annoying. I honestly I'm just saying it because like I'm just really bored because I don't take much notice about like gossip and drama. Like, okay, maybe I admit that I have probably gossip about someone, which I guess it's true, but it's like it's not like something like I created this whole story to make someone look bad or something. It's more like I just heard it and I was just saying it's like, yeah, I guess it's like you know like a bit like unnecessary, but it's more like when you kind of know that people are just out there to make you feel like really insecure about yourself, and like, because I mean, humans are imperfect and sometimes they say things that like to them it's like okay, but it really affects you. And like I kind of admit now that like I'm really like old and I just feel like I do admit that I'm sensitive, and it's just something that only affects me about what people say about me, and that like I am not someone who would like tell a person off. I mean, maybe I would question them and say like why or something, but it's not always that I would do that. Like I would usually ignore things. But I find it kind of apparent, and honestly, I do enjoy doing what I do, but at the same time, there's always this one occurrence to me that besides like you know drama and workplace full of weirdos. But yeah, I just have this like bad history and bad luck of having weirdos in my job that I work with, and it's really funny because I honestly don't know how, like, if, am I supposed to kind of like be okay with weirdos around me. And I just think like recently I just don't know how I kind of felt like people just switch up so quickly. Like, besides like workplace drama and politics, I feel like in general in my life, like I have faced so many people who would just like completely switch up on me, and I don't like that at all. It's like it's very like sudden, and honestly, it's just something that you know I haven't know how to like brush it off. I guess like maybe that's something that I was thinking about just now. Like it's just really hard to kind of like comprehend how like if I think about my past, like, how people would just leave me and that would like suck because everything was going okay. Like I swear I did not fire this person, we were getting along fine. And like I used to think like they were bored, and I think it's probably like a factual thing because like I don't understand how people can just have like that kind of like, I guess, ignorance. And I don't admit I'm ignorant, but it's like I have been with this person for quite some time, or like I know how they are, and it is just very hard to understand why people are like this. Like in general, like I feel like people are just like totally like, you know, complicated people. That's why they do things that they don't understand why they're doing. At least to me, I do not understand. I don't have your heart that like I would never do such a thing to me. That's just what I'm saying. And yeah. So like I just find it like hard to live in a world where I have to not like, pretend that I have to be okay. Like I feel like whatever that I have been through, like in my workplace or in my life, has really kind of like brought me down. And you know, I think like this video is pretty like a rant video, but I think it's just something like I think about a lot, and I feel that I would just feel like, you know, so affected by just someone commenting about me that I would feel it, and I would feel like that's just like not something that anyone should really care about, and probably they don't, or they just brush it off. But for me, it just hits different, and I would just go about my day trying to like shrug it off, but I don't know. I really have like no idea how to like combat people at work that would like talk about you and like everything like that, because honestly, I just feel like, you know, I've never experienced a job where, I'm literally like completely 100% okay about the people. But I can't really complain now because there's also like lovely people that are there, and they don't like give me any like things that I don't want to tolerate. And yeah, I guess that's the, you know, pros and cons of being in a job where you have to talk to people, like customer service. And I think it's a very like enlightening thing to be ignorant. I think the main key is just being ignorant. And I admit there are times where I felt like I just can't be ignorant, and I think it only stems from me being very sensitive about how people like perceive me and everything like that. And I realized that if I kind of think opposite, like if I try to gaslight myself into like thinking like, hey, maybe that means that this is a good thing, and maybe I'll feel better when I'm on my own. So I did a lot of like thinking to myself, and I realized like, yeah, that I guess this is how it should be. But I also felt like I learned today like to just kind of like love myself, and I think I was like struggling to understand how to love myself, what it is. But I realized I've been in such a very, very low, I guess, very reflective mood about things. And I realized like there is really just, you know, something that I want to make my pain like less of like a whine in my head, and like not unnecessary clutter. I just thought that like, hey, since I backed myself so much, or not really about myself, involving myself, or about my whole life and a lot of people, and thinking like, why can't people stay? And I really want someone to just stay with me. It was like a very like a cry for help. I was saying I really want someone to really be with me, because I genuinely think there's something wrong that will just leave me in. it's not anyone's fault. I really don't believe so. I think that's life. But I tend to love myself in a way that I don't want to have validation from others. It's just for me that I can be like, okay, I'll just wait, or I just let it pass because I don't know my future and I know people who would like be with me, and it's just something that I kind of, you know, just letting everything that's not in my control be for me in the future because I've been through a lot of things that will upset me, and I'm just waiting for something in the future that would, you know, make me feel like there's something that wouldn't make me upset or stressed about. And like, I faced a lot of people, surprisingly, who are very scared of me, would be very shocked, truly, like jumping on a chair if I'm just around them, or I just enter the room and I sit down. And it's kind of funny to me, and I can say it now, but when it happens, I tend to like be very affected by that. I think, I don't want to feel so much like a sponge, and I probably feel like, oh, that's sad, or it scares me also, I guess, when I kind of think back about it. And I guess I just feel like I have no reason about that, but I think in my life there's also times where other people would do the opposite of that with me and try to, put me in situations where it's just not for me. I definitely have been through situations, like a lot of situations where I am not safe. And I think it's easy to like kind of like reflect back and when you really wish that you have done things differently like in a situation. But for me it's like something that I know on the spot. So one situation that unfortunately happened to me while at work is that I just know that like I know I group certain people as like how they are just not good in general. And I know it's bad, but it's like I already had that. So when I'm just like really open, and in this situation I was very very like you know just really confident and towards this person. But I just know that this is bad. And the key thing is that about a man, if a man ever tries to like even joke with you in a very degrading way, then I think someone should just like walk away or like something. But generally I'm just like a very clownish character, I guess, because I know how we dislike, but I'm still going with it. I just think like probably when I am in certain moods that I just laugh because I would think about things that make me like have humor, and then I find it hilarious, like whether it's just my imagination or like just a vision or a hallucination that I see that makes me really very you know happy and makes me laugh. And I think that's probably why I do what I do. That's very like mystic like, but in general, I really don't really care about consequences much. That now that recently I become impulsive, and luckily I don't have myself in jail or something. I mean, but basically like there was this really creepy guy, and it falls under like people that I really just don't wanna like go with. And like I'm not trying to like blame your ethnicities or something, but I just know I have to be careful, and he's a guy. And you know how like it's very imposing that when people are like afraid of me, or people would like me as in a compliment me. It's like two different worlds, like that I ever experienced before. And yeah, but generally like this guy was like, yeah, he did like the thing that I told you guys about, like they're joking with me in a very bad way, and I know that I have very very low tolerance of people because I am very easily agitated, or like I'm very like just pissed off, and I have no PMS, and that's a good thing because I would wonder like I would think that I'm depressed because there are so many things that would just send me into a spiral because this person or this like situation is annoying or very just irritating. And that's how actually I feel, and I know I'm going off topic, but it's like it's just like I don't understand how men are in general, because this kind of man, like I'm not saying all, but like he is the type of guy who would literally like be very persistent. And I know for a fact like I actually see me in him, but it's like because he's a guy. And I don't, I feel like I'm lucky because I'm a woman, and I guess there's some like leeway there, and I know that I guess like I just am lucky to get away with things. But like when someone really like pesters you to like do something like or like just be very persistent in what they say, I feel like it's just really off. And I know that like as a woman, like it's not received well. I feel like people would like probably label me as not okay, or like there's something wrong, or like I'm desperate or something like in that terms. But like for a guy, it's a no-go. I just know that ever since young, because I didn't have a good childhood, and based on the people that I've talked to you guys about, the guys that I've actually dealt with, I really feel like it's something like you really don't really want to mess with men. Like, I mean, I can't say anything for a woman because I'm a woman, and I don't have any comment about them because I don't have anything to say about them. But I'm really just saying that for guys, for men who literally like seriously put you in this kind of like uncomfortable situation, and yeah, they just pester you to do something that you told them like you don't want to do about. And because I guess I was like fawning because I felt like maybe like I was maybe just nervous and uncomfortable, and me just being like, I guess sometimes when things make me anxious, I realize that I do tend to like laugh, like Laugh, and I would just cause I already told you guys I don't really stand up about things that make me upset. I would just question it or I just ignore it because I'm either ignorant, I get upset, I just or I still go about my day by the way, but still I just feel like certain things can't really be played with, and I wouldn't play with a man especially. And that's just my advice. Like it just like even if this guy doesn't have my number, I just know that I just want to avoid them, which is like a big oopsie because apparently I was unlucky. And I think it's just funny because like he was just like about me and stuff, and he wouldn't like disturb anybody because my other people there are just like with other people. Like, I mean, I'm not really like a really big thing now to say that oh my husband or my partner is my protector, because I have not had a partner. But I guess people would just when girls are like wanting to stay away from like creeps, right? They just say, oh, I have a boyfriend. And that was like what my colleague was insinuating too, because he had my number, and I was like fawning. I went just to like go ahead with it, and like I thought like he's giving the contact was okay. Like yeah, he was very persistent, and yeah, apparently I'm just very clueless, and it doesn't benefit me. But honestly, I he could have just like left me alone, like generally for real. Mm, I think the reason why girls act like so like me, I guess, because I'm generally like terrified. Like first of all, like when I talk to people, I just feel like I just know how this person is. Like, I mean, not like the whole person, that I know them like so well as if like I live with them or something, but it's like I choose who I want to talk to, you know. And I rarely get like approached even by guys. So there was like something that was new, and it's like, yeah, it was going bad from the start, and I just feel like it was very unexpected also. And she's just saying like that, like because everybody else had someone, and I just don't, you know. I was just there and he wanted to just be very creepy or something. And yeah, and usually this would lead to like very, you know, uncomfortable situations where someone gets hurt. So I really don't really recommend like being with someone, it's a friend, woman or man, that just consistently, literally like tells you to do something, and when you tell them like even just once, like when you say I don't want to do this, they better let you go, because this person's just gonna like make your life hell. Either like they hurt you physically, mentally, anything. Like I think I can be as paranoid as ever, which I have. I was, because I knew that, because I was impulsive or something, like, or I received visions, or and I thought that maybe it would happen to me, then I would be like, there's just not gonna go well. And I guess people should just be more paranoid about people, especially men, that put you into shit like that. I just want to also prove that why I'm so like adamant and so persistent about the fact about men is that men are physically like stronger than women. I guess you don't really see a very muscular woman or someone that's just like so like, you know, built as a woman. Even if a guy is fat or obese, he still will literally hurt you so badly, way worse than a woman. Cause you know, for a woman, they would probably be more like unstable, and when they're unstable, they would probably like, you already know that this woman's gonna like hurt you, and you know she can do it so many times to you, but just the fact is men are way more stronger, and I think men are more unstable in a way that they will just strike you just because they're angry, just because they have a lot of emotions that are just boiling up inside them. Like, it's just that simple for men. I guess woman is more complicated if she wants to abuse someone. But yeah, it was a very silly way to kind of like know that mistake was a mistake. That guy was horrible. I think there's like no way that I can ever like, you know, feel not frustrated about that. So basically when you fall, you really just kind of like, I guess the term is fall, like you just like go along with the man because you're just so scared, and or you just play along because you want to just confuse him, because it also like for me, little things hurt me and that would hurt my like sense of ego, like to probably I don't know what to do. I was just being myself open, but yeah, I know that it was a mess because that was just it. Like, you evolve me with a person and then it just ends off bad because in the beginning it was bad, and I really just want to like get it across. Like, I think it is very important to realize that fact and be more wary about men who are just so creepy, or so keyword highlight disrespectful. Okay, so if you are just like me, just one person, and you know, like just go somewhere. I don't know. I have never been physically harassed or stalked in my whole entire life living in Singapore in real life, and I'm very thankful for that. And if I'm very like problematic, and guys just hate me for that, no matter whose fault is it, or if it's no one's fault, I still have that effect on myself, and I could just be very creepy, and that's why they just don't like me, this man. Okay, but when I go and like with this guy who's just a problematic, it will just end up like a fight that no one can really like let me to forget about it. And I think because I grew up with very little like safety, very little like care, then maybe I started to become like that. But as a woman, I know that I have reflected back. But I want to share it to my fellow women, to other men also. These kind of people who just never shut up and never like leave you alone when you already told that person, I'm not gonna do what you tell me to do. In life, you are your own boss. The reason why people leave jobs is because they're so done about people stepping on themselves, because they just went there to work and people are just there to make them feel so upset, and they just can't get more, they just go and leave. That's fine. And I just think, like, for me, it's hilarious. I can never catch a break. And yeah, I'm really just like losing it. But when you try to provoke me when I'm really like sensitive, and then now that I get more irritable, which is okay by me, because I'm just clearly affected. Really so done. I think people just are becoming creepy, you know? It doesn't matter unkind, because there's some people who are just so just mean, and they can't help themselves because they're just in, I guess, in their head there's something that makes them like that, or they just happen to just want to like shit on someone's day. But yeah, anyway, next point is about online things. I think as I was growing up, I learned a thing or two about, like, how like people are just going to kind of attack you online. And I think I learned that as cyberbullying, and I'm very grateful that I have no one that ever does that. And I think, like, maybe the comments would like leave negative hate, because on YouTube, as someone who posts themselves and as random people would just comment, maybe those are bots, but I could easily just remove them. But I have my experience where I was physically, like, online, like I physically felt it as if it was in real life, like because of this online stalker that I had. And like I said, I tend to ignore, but I had this pattern. I noticed this pattern where this account on Facebook would always have the same like last surname, and I know it's the same person because if I'm not wrong, they're always on the same country, and they keep adding me on different accounts, and I keep having like like friend requests, and I think I'm unlucky in that sense because I just like online, I just don't know why I have this feeling where I'm more careful and I'm more aware of like who's gonna like hurt me in real life, because no one has done that, but I have this awareness of like creepy people following people home or something, or so I just know that it's just like it's something that I want to like kind of like, you know not be paranoid about, but I just want to like, you know make myself not in denial about what happened. But yeah, I think that was like a online harassment stalker kind of thing, because like I don't understand the motive behind that person who would just add me. And obviously now I blocked, and I would usually before I would just delete. But yeah, I think I would panic, about these kind of situations, or I feel like, okay, I have to probably like play along, which I know it's messed up. Like, I could just be angry, which I can, but it would not be okay. Like, I had like these thoughts, and my mind's just very what if about like someone that's harassing me, and just want to like hit them, but it would probably lead me to legal trouble, like in jail or something. And it is very hard for me and for the person, because as much as I know I can defend myself, I don't want to get myself into trouble. So yeah, unfortunately, I think it's the end, because I have this like probably like a very good luck where I would like sense like if I'm done with this situation, like I can give people chances, yeah, because I was very open, but chances are very limited in a way that when time is up, when someone's just done with the person, they're just done. So I don't want to waste my time on someone that is going to like you know and bring me trouble. And these kind of troublemakers that I learned to realize are like people with no lives. Like, as my whole life, I have also known that I can see beyond the super, you know, the world, and I mean I can see in a supernatural sense, and they always love to disturb people, like just about anyone, and they're like everywhere. And I realize this can come in humans also. It's probably why people are just like so like afraid of humans instead of supernatural things. And I think they are just someone that I would not deal with. Like, I realized like I have no time to be around these people, and obviously I was not going to put in situations about me and that person, which is a troublemaker, and it's like very, very, I don't know, just very, very hard to kind of like deal with. That I just don't want to deal with them. I have dealt with people who probably scared of me and don't want to deal with me for whatever reason. But yeah, so these unlucky situations that I have, like, this is why I'm so mad, because I could just easily scare them away, right? But like, yeah, I block that person. But in real life, when you want to kind of go into this uh like situation where you feel scared and you can't really do anything, I just think like yeah, that's hard. As a woman, it's very hard. It's probably like worse than like being a guy. And I'm not trying to like be biased, but as a woman, if I'm just a woman myself, I would probably know. And 100% I just know that there's always going to be a creep out there, or there's going to be a hater out there. Like on Snapchat, I am very, very popular on Snapchat in a way that I always accept my friend requests, and I always like have hundreds of friend requests that I always accept. And it's just always me being very open and very like, okay, I'll just accept you because honestly I don't know who you are, and I don't really post or something. That's why I always accept all of you guys. But like, as a woman, if you're not really asking for it, asking for trouble, asking for abuse, like you probably see even online that you have all these creepy people who just send you creepy things, very gruesome things. And then like in real life, because I guess you're a woman, and this creepy man will just go and like follow you, or like harass you, or pick a fight with you. And I think the reason why it happens to women, I guess, and it's more reported, is because like we are just like way more innocent and we target it, and there's always like cases about it. And I don't think like I could ever also catch a break, because like these men are just people who are just gonna like go at you without any reason, and it really frustrates me. And they just think like because you're a woman, like you want to have all this struggle in your life. Like, I promise you we don't. I just think people need to really know that men aren't always what they are all about, or they claim to be. Which it's funny, because I was watching a video, and lots of videos about this kind of like men and everything that they do that aren't, for anybody's good. But for me, I'm just saying it's very hard. You don't know, if you haven't been very, very like popular online, that you don't know how it is like to kind of like know what people are gonna send you. Which is why I honestly very, very much believe in having a phone ban. Like in Australia, like I think they don't allow like people who are under 16 or something. I forgot, but like they shouldn't have phones, and it's true, because I feel like what we see online is also very critical to how we put it in our brains and see the world. Like it's very, very, you know, jarring. It's two different world. Like being online and being in the real world. Like when you have like all these dangers, it still affects you. I agree, pain is pain, and nobody should feel like it's something that you want to really expose a child with, or yourself about. Like this is why people are probably like not online all the time, and I understand about that. Like for me, I am not afraid of spiritual attacks by random people or like or anything like that, or like I'm more aware of people that are in real life with me, that even if I know them or not, they subconsciously or consciously they will just, if they hate you, they hate you, but it's not of my concern. And anyway, life moves on. But like I'm not really like particular about people like spiritually doing something to me online. Like for example, people believing that the evil eye is like on you because you're popular or something, or along that kind of like situations. But for me, I just think like I'm just like so ignorant in that way. But it's terrifying to be alive where you have to kind of like go for like jobs where you meet a lot of different people. And like I think I learned that you really have to prepare yourself to meet all sorts of people, like the weirdos, the mean ones, the very kind ones too. I guess the one who, I guess, approaches you in a warm and wants nothing from you. And I know other kind of people that you are ready for and ready for. But yeah, it's hard for me to kind of know that I have to face so much of these people, when I guess we gotta be smart and know what these people are like from the start. Just know that like you can easily know someone, like when you kind of go out with yourself and you meet probably a stranger, like someone you have never met before, or maybe you met this person a few times, like from the first impression where like when you I just don't do handshakes. But like a fact would say that you know how this person is like. I mean, for example, like for people handshaking someone, if they're very creepily tightening your hand with their hand, and like a firm, very very firm handshake, this person's very very I guess too aggressive or just too into power and leadership. But if they're like an okay handshake, like not weak, just just all right, this person is good. Or like if it's just very loose, you really can't really rely on that person or something like that. I'm just like saying things that I assume, but I do believe it's true. And I think like it's just something that I also know, that how this person talks to you in your life the first time will kind of determine how it is like in your future interactions, or whether this person is worthy to stay in your life. It doesn't matter if this person leaves you, or you don't want to be with this person, or you're not close to this person. I think it depends on everything. Like I think because I've seen a lot of mean people, or people who can switch up. And I'm not saying that you can always go back to that first moment when you met a person, unless you really romantically like them or keep thinking obsessively about them. But I'm just saying, like in general, the first sentence or the word that comes out of their mouth, like you just know that this person is either weirdo, which will harm you, or just someone who is weird and you can keep a distance from them, or just someone who's like all right. Like if this person is like talking normally, like you can somehow you will be able to kind of trust this person. And that's how it is like, because especially for me, the first sentence that came out of this person's mouth is just a red flag. I just want to get out, no waste of time. Yeah, that's what I just want to like tell you guys about. Yeah, I didn't think I fit this like in a very very long video. And I honestly have spoken to you guys all that I have thought about and all that I have been all about. And yeah, I think it was really nice to kind of also do my makeup, because I see that I want to put on makeup, and I did at least like just me and makeup. So I did, because I can't do it for anybody else because I'm alone. And I don't know, I think like it's important to stay safe and be so aware by what the first word or the sentence the person's gonna say to you. That would determine everything about how you and that person will, form out, like, you know. and people can just change anytime. I think that's just like how people are like seasons and weathers. Like they can just be nice. They can like be so in love with you. They can be like your whole good best friend, your whole good friend. But like you just know that once time they would just like slip up and just go. I mean, like you don't have to sleep also, and they will just go away from you. Like they just don't know who you are. They don't want anything to do with you, and it's a very harsh fact about life. But I'm still trying to kind of like let it pass. I honestly think like I guess a good fight is worth it to know if this person's gonna stay. But always be careful of people who would, you know, tell you things that make you uncomfortable or you don't agree with. You have every right to cut this person out of your life, and let's not waste each other's time. Let's all be kind.